Sophie's Choice is a very popular 1982 film starring Meryl Streep. She actually won an Oscar for Best Actress for her performance in this film. The film centers around a young writer named Singo and his relationship with Sophie and Nathan. Sophie is a Polish Jewish Holocaust survivor that has immigrated to Brooklyn. Her boyfriend Nathan has a very violent temper, and the relationship is abusive and unhealthy. Later on, it is revealed by Nathan's brother to Singo that Nathan is a paranoid schizophrenic and that his spells can come and go. They can be months apart, years apart, days apart, that he's very unpredictable. Nathan and Sophie have developed a pretty unhealthy relationship in which Sophie has some trauma bonding going on, especially because of her past as a Holocaust survivor, and she got here and she was very sick. And when Nathan met her, he helped her get better, so she is definitely attached to him. As the story goes on, Nathan becomes great friends with, Singo becomes great friends with Sophie and Nathan. Sophie eventually tells Singo her true story. Her original story was that her husband and father were killed by the Germans and all of that. Well, her true story is that Sophie's father was a Polish college professor, and he actually hated the Jews and had Sophie helping him write speeches commending a lot of Jews to death. Well, Sophie had a lover that was part of the resistance, and his sister asked her to translate some stolen documents that they had gotten, since she did speak German. She refused because she was fearful for her children's life. Well, shortly after that, her lover did die, and she was arrested and taken to Auschwitz. Then she does kind of go on telling Singo the story, but she does leave out a super important part. Well, then Nathan has another huge explosion and flare up, and Sophie finds comfort with Singo again, and Singo reveals that he would like to marry Sophie and have a family with her. Sophie tells Singo that she's unfit to be a mother and reveals something that she had never told anyone. When her and her children were on the train and they arrived to Auschwitz, the Nazi officer that was checking them in told Sophie that both of her children could not come with her, that she had to choose. One of her children would go with the Nazis, and that was known to be put to death, and that her other child could come with her into the concentration camp and go into the children's area. If she did not choose one of the children, both of the children would be taken and die. So this scene is very emotional, and probably just this one scene won Meryl Streep her award, in which she finally, faced with no choice, told them to take her daughter and to let her son come into the camp with her. Later on, Sophie and her son are separated, and after trying to negotiate her son's release, he never was released, never showed up, and she had no idea what happened to him. So when she finally came to the United States, she said she wasn't going to have any more children. After that night that she tells Singo this story, she leaves in the middle of the night and leaves him a note. Singo goes to look for her in the building that she knows that her and Nathan live in, and finds that they had both committed suicide together. So that's the end of that story. This story has to do with ethics, and if the choice that Sophie made was moral and ethical at the time. This question is hard because this is the ultimate choice. Like, how do you ask a mother to choose between the lives of her two children? But then when I was thinking about it, a lot of like cultural relativism, I can't talk, came into play on me on that one. So in my paper, I wrote about China and the practices of China with the girls in China because of the population control, where they were only allowed to have so many children, and in Chinese culture, the males are looked upon a lot higher. So the goal was, if you could only have one child, is that everyone wanted to have a boy. No one wanted to have a girl if they could only have one. So this resulted in a lot of baby girls being abandoned and given up for adoption, and some even killed or just left for death. So in that culture, Sophie's choice, I guess, wouldn't be as difficult. I'm not saying that the mothers in China don't have difficult giving up their daughters. I've watched like some documentaries and stuff on that. But it is also a lot more accepted and normalized and in the culture, like to like choose between the lives of your two kids. The fact that people do it and they do it multiple times. And whereas then Sophie had to do it once and basically could never live again. So I think those show like the different like cultures and what is considered acceptable and ethical and moral at the time. Then there's also the side if she was playing into the evil, like condoning evil because she did make a choice. So if she said she wanted no part of the evil, she actually just should have made no choice and said, I'm not participating at all. But then this would have resulted in the death of both of her children. So I think in her mind, as she had said in the film sometimes, as she kept telling herself, like, I saved my son, I saved my son, I saved my son. Because, I mean, she did save her son by making a choice to kill her daughter, but then her son would have been killed as well. It's just an impossible choice. It's an impossible movie, and I think like the ethical questions could keep going around in circles about that. But I think looking at it from different cultural points of view is the most interesting part that I find.